Hi, welcome to Box on the Box Rock and Celluloid, Bot Back for short, IMHO Box. So today I'm going to be reviewing Saxon's Innocence is No Excuse. This is a random review. This was released September 1985 and was a band's 7th album. So this came at a period where Saxon were attempting to be more commercial, try and break the States. I think they'd had sort of done quite well on the Power of the Glory album, but things hadn't totally improved on the Crusader. They still had some really good metal imagery on that, but they've done tracks like Sailing to America, Give It All For You, a bit more commercial tracks. This doesn't necessarily totally continue that sound, but it's got more sort of LA rock type lyrics. And they used a producer called Simon Hanhart. I don't know what he'd done before that, but he'd worked with Mutt Lang over at Weishold Studios, I think it's called. And that's the album where Def Leppard and recorded Hysteria amongst many other bands, and this album was recorded there, or certainly mixed there. I think it was recorded in Germany, it might have been mixed there, or vice versa. But anyway, I've always liked this album. It only has kind of one track that tends to get wheeled out now to play live, but I always felt the quality of the writing was there, and the accusations that the production's too slick, well, you know, it's a lot slicker for Saxon, but that's probably the way it go in the 80s, and it's probably a better sounding record than people give it credit for. I'll cover what are the issues with it, where I think could be improved, but it opens really strongly with Rockin' With You. This has got a really nice atmospheric intro, then there's a lovely clean picked intro, Biff to some nice kind of falsetto, oohing and ahhing, and then he sings his opening line, and the way he says the word night, you'll know that Biff Byford always mentions the word night in his lyrics. He goes, screaming in the night. So he puts a little twist on night. This is a really good song, you know, it's got quarter notes on the bass, boom, 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 boom. But the band's so tight, the rhythm section, Elijah Glockler, Steve O'Dawson are totally tight on this. The guitars are kind of crunchy and tight with a bit of chorus on. Biff's vocals in fine force. It has that kind of processed drum sound, you know, quite a big sound. You know, this is probably too much reverb on this album, but it still sounds pretty good compared to a lot of other records at the time. This is a really good opening track. It's about 5 minutes 12. It sets a scene. Next track, the tempo picks up, and it's got a really nice staccato riff, and it's Call of the Wild. Again, really good track, really good verses. I think he goes, waiting for the night. I think that's his opening line, Biff. The other good thing about this track's got a really good chorus on this. I mean, Rockin' Again's got a great chorus. I think that's something people forget about Saxon, in amongst their sort of plethora of metal lyrics that always have catchy choruses, and they tend to always have the title of the song in the chorus, so there's an instant rapport between the band and listener. The simple songwriting technique, but always works. So this is another really good track with a cracking solo. I don't know if it's Quinn or Oliver. I should say that the solos are gone in this album. Both guitarists have a kind of smoother sound, and the solos are very structured and dialed in more. Really good. Then you've got Back on the Streets. This is track 3. This is a great track. We've been out in the cold. Guess what comes up? Out in the night. Piff gets in early on that one. But this has got a really nice feel to it. I like this track more than Vinnie Vincent Invasion's Back on the Streets. There you go, or John Norum's cover. So this is a good Back on the Streets. Not that those aren't good. Again, good lead work. Really like the kind of double of the chorus. You got Back on the Streets again, and then it kind of goes up a tone. We're back on the streets again. Again, very good songcraft. The band clearly really working on like choruses and getting things as catchy as possible. Track 4 is the excellent Devil Rides Out. This is Saxon doing a kind of AC/DC, kind of almost Dokken riffing on it, you know. If you think of a song like Into the Fire, it's got that kind of nice pedaling on the A chord and those power chords, you know, you play on the D, G and B string. Classic sort of progression. Really good middle section. Steve Dawson's bass sound is good. Biff does kind of the devil ride out. It's cheesy, but it works. Really good. 4 cracking tracks off the bat here. You know, a strong opening. Track 5's not quite as good as the first 4, but it's still good as Rock and Roll Gypsy that people may know. Again, a little lighter, still commercial. some nice chord work, again, pretty strong chorus, probably not as catchy as the other ones. And that was the end of the original side one. Where things go wrong with the album is side two. This is a very front-loaded album, so we'll come to that. So side two opens with the superb Broken Heroes, and this is the track that gets wheeled out by the band live quite often. This is a very atmospheric track. It's really about what the people who've died in wars, in all the wars, First World War, Second World War, and so on. And it's got a really atmospheric, really good lyrics by Biff. The sort of lyrics that only he does best, what he calls picture lyrics. So he's really putting you in the kind of visual mindset of what it might be like to go to war, packing your bags and going. After the solo, there's a really nice breakdown where the verse drops right down, and then he mentions a line about Goose Green. This isn't long after the Falkland Islands, of course, on the Battle of Goose Green. A lot of British casualties. But he does it in a really epic and emotional and sincere way, not cheesy. So this is really good, excellent track. So again, you've actually got 6 for the bat. So this is where things change. The album has 4 tracks that I think are quite similar. They're kind of similar lyrically. You've got Gonna Shout, you've got Everybody Up, you've got Raise Some Hell, and Give It Everything You've Got. So lyrically, they're all sort of party attitude tracks. And because they come all in a row, it feels a bit samey. Sometimes I have trouble separating these tracks. But when you break into them, Gonna Shout's a very catchy, sort of cock rock type song. Again, a really catchy chorus, cheesy. Gonna shout, let it roll. But it's always worked. Then you've got Everybody Up. Again, lots of attitude on this about the gig. Should say all these tracks here are under 4 minutes. So the album, the side one, first track's over 5. The other tracks are all over 4. Apart from one's 3:59, but it's nearly 4. Broken Heroes is over 5. But good arrangements. The album's 42 minutes. Then you've got Raise From Hell, which is a kind of more up tempo. He does do the Texas yell and stuff. Obviously going for the American market, quite a cool groove. Then Give It Everything You Got is another what I would call Parchment Farm boogie. So, typically people think Hot for Teacher because that kind of groove invented that. But in actual fact, Saxon predates So This Town Knows How to Rock, which is a really fun track of the Power and the Glory. They did the same thing, a little bit of What You Fancy on Crusader, and did the same thing again on this, Give It Everything You Got. So, again, quite a catchy track, but maybe we didn't need that one. Your first 6 tracks, I'd probably give, full marks. Maybe Rock and Roll Gypsy an 8, so 58. I think Gonna Shout, Everyone, and Raise Some Hell are all good, sort of 6 out of 10 tracks, good filler tracks. What's that, 1.8 plus 6, 58, 68, 70, 7.5 out of 10. Give It Everything You Got's okay. This could be an 8, this album, but maybe it didn't need that track. The 49-minute mark, 42 minutes, sorry, the album after this, and kind of Crusaders to essentially 9 tracks. You've got Crusader, Prelude. They could have put 9 tracks on this and got away with it, and you would have had a 39-minute album. So that's maybe the first thing, but I think the running order would have benefited from a tweak. I think when I was thinking about it before, I'd keep the first 3 tracks as they are, then put Gonna Shout fourth, and then have Rock and Roll Gypsy. I think that would work. Then have The Devil Rides Out opening side 2. Then have probably Raise Some Hell, maybe. Then have Broken Heroes as the kind of second to last track, epic ending, and then a bit of Everybody Up to leave you in the mood, maybe. Perhaps the track this album's missing is if Saxon had thought of doing the cover of Ride Like the Wind. I checked before, and their cover of that is about 4.5 minutes. Obviously, that's the standout cut off the Destiny album, the only one again that they play live off that now. They don't really play anything off Rock the Nations. But that, if they'd thought of that at the time, that would have fitted perfectly on this album, and you could have got rid of one of the tracks and put that on, or 2 of the tracks, gone down to 8 and made that the 9th. The other option is a track. I looked at Rock the Nations. There's a track called Battle Cry, which kind of stands out. Maybe this album's missing a kind of typical kind of Saxon battle track, and that might have worked. So there's some issues, but I do think I think it's a better album than Crusader. It's better than Rock the Nation, it's better than Destiny. So I like this. My other issue is I think Innocence is No Excuse is not a Saxon title. Saxon, Wheels of Steel, Strong on the Law. Then he'll have a Pound of Glory, Crusader are all Saxon titles. Rock the Nations is a bit cheesy, but it is. Destiny's okay. I think Destiny works. So Destiny would have been a better title, but I would have maybe chosen Broken Heroes. Done a more contemporary spin on the typical Saxon imagery, but made it a sort of like a soldier type image. And that might work on maybe Call of the Wild. Because up to this point, Saxon always had a title track from Wheels of Steel onwards. And this is the first album where they didn't. But the album cover, as you may be aware, is a girl and there's an apple with a Saxon logo on the S. It's kind of more like a Hypnosis take on a rock cover, but it doesn't really, I don't think it really works for Saxon. Saxon need to have that metal lineage. So there we go, that's my review of Innocence is No Excuse. Check it out, and thanks for checking in. Remember, share and subscribe. Thank you very much.